Yeah, I've heard Breaking Bad reference so many times. I've seen clips of it. I just never really jumped on the bandwagon to watch it, but I've heard it's really good.
You've never seen Breaking Bad?
No, I remember
Wow.
seeing advertisements for it on ABC. I mean AMC, because I would watch the AMC channel if you growing up for movies and such, and I would see it advertised. Then I would see a lot of people meme it. I have a good YouTube friend named Joey from Joey's Movie Blog. He's a big fan of it, and then I hear a lot of references in me video clips and memes. I'm like, okay, you guys must be talking about Breaking Bad, but no, I've never seen the show. All I know is that Bryan Cranston's in it, Aaron Paul's in it. I did see the El Camino movie, which I actually really like.
Okay, well then if you really like El Camino, I highly suggest Breaking Bad because I didn't
I,
jump on the bandwagon either. I grew up watching AMC and shit. Like my family grew up. I grew up watching The Walking Dead as it was airing in the way earlier seasons with them. But
Walking Dead. I fell off after season 8 because after season 8, it just didn't really interest me as much anymore. But
yeah,
I will get around to Breaking Bad. It's just there's a lot of other TV shows and a lot of other movies that I want to get to. It's just I'm only one person. Just
see
like I'm
that's
only one person having to do a lot of the recording and editing and such
hmm
my own content through my phone right now until I able can find another laptop. So I've been in the process of finding a new laptop since my last one died, which was a refurbished laptop since 2020. So, but
yeah.
I'll
See,
let you continue about Breaking Bad and such.
no, dude. Yeah. Well, for one, with the material like a laptop and stuff like that, yeah, you're right. You can do it off of a phone. I did it off my phone, and that's also probably what made me hate doing movie reviews is because I didn't have the energy. Like I work a full time job. I work anywhere from 46 to like 60 hours a week, and I'm in hard labor. I'm always tired. I do have a creative outlet when I come home. I have so many things that I want to do. Like I draw, I play guitar, I like doing YouTube. So I kind of have to pick and choose what hobbies I want to do. And
Yeah.
that's why I started doing this because now I got a Chromebook and I got a webcam, and it's way easier doing it on this than editing everything on a phone. That phone stuff sucks, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely does suck when I'm doing editing or such on my phone because I'll have to bend down because my eyesight, which luckily I don't have to do as much because I got some new glasses a few weeks ago, but
Right.
it's not. I still use my phone for right now until then, but I definitely understand what you're saying.
The other day, you said you posted a video that I absolutely loved, and you was going on about how you're a Harry Potter fan, and that you don't see the reason why they're bringing it back from the movies or like rebooting it. It seems like more of a cash grab. You mentioned the Snape issue, and even though
Which
you're a
I
big
don't have a problem with Snape being black. I
exactly,
think some people really want to take their racism and xenophobia to the extremes. And first off, I am sorry if I did interrupt you when you were talking
no,
about
you're
that
good. You're
video
good.
because I did post that on TikTok and also my YouTube and also
hmm
IG. And the reason why I feel that way is because while yes, I am a Harry Potter fan, I've been a fan ever since the movies, ever since I started reading the books. I've been is my favorite movie franchise, favorite overall franchise of all time.
Wow.
And even though I am a fan of the Wizarding World, which I am a Gryffindor, by the way, I'm also someone who does support the LGBTQ community, especially the transgender community.
Mm-hmm.
And and the reason why I'm heavily against that show, which it has nothing to do with the cast and crew involved, as I did say in that video, I wish them the best of luck.
Right.
But this is not is the reason why I feel that way is for a multitude of reasons. One is because when you have a author like J.K. Rowling, who has openly admitted that she has a hatred against the transgender community, it's going to turn off a lot of, if not all, Harry Potter fans off. Not only that, it just kind of shows that you're dehumanizing the transgender community, and God knows the LGBTQ has enough shit to deal with,
Right.
especially with everything going on in the world. It's not just with the LGBTQ, it's also people of color, the Native Americans, even someone of your own race have a lot of shit to go on with. So that's one reason why. Two is just it's just too soon. Now, sure, do I feel like the show can delve deeper into the books than the movies can? Oh, absolutely. And there, for example, you have the Percy Jackson TV show on Disney Plus. I think the movies are guilty pleasures, but I've never read any of the books. But I really do like what the show is doing in terms of adapting the books more faithfully. But the reason why that worked is because you're taking something that a lot of Percy Jackson fans didn't like the first time in film form, and you're doing it in movie form. Whereas with Harry Potter, I feel like you're just only doing this for the money. There's no real passion in it. There's no real sense of magic in there. And I did not see the trailer by itself. I only saw people react to the trailer. Very divided results. Some people are excited for it. Some people are not. But it's not. It hasn't even been 20 plus years since the Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out in 2011, and we're already just rebooting the franchise in TV form when there's so many more ideas you could do in the Wizarding world. Like the First Order of the Phoenix will make a great anthology series, or how the Houses of Hogwarts came to be. Mm-hmm. And to me, I just feel like that this HBO Max TV series, yes, I had to make my stand on that because I am a fan of the franchise, but I'm also a supporter of the LGBTQ community, even as a 27-year-old autistic heterosexual guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if I feel like it's not
necessarily love and empathy for others that
yes.
is clearly distant from the creator of a franchise that you admittedly and openly love. You love these communities and you love people for who they are way more than you would any other franchise, just like most people should. And so the fact that this whole situation is being brought up again, it's kind of bringing back old topics that should have been handled when they happened.
Yeah.
And now instead of, because HBO, they think because they're keeping JK away from it. From my understanding, that's what I've read, is that of course they need her sign off for the IP. But as far as what they're doing with the show, she has nothing to do with it like she did in the movie.
And also a part of the reason why I'm against this is because JK, when you openly slander the original cast and crew of those movies for speaking their mind, it just kind of makes you look like a bad person.
And by the way, she's like part of the reason why Emma Watson doesn't even act anymore. Part of what JK was trying to do.
I'm pretty sure Emma Watson, she'll come back to acting on her own terms.
Exactly.
It's definitely up to her. Also, Daniel Radcliffe, he's still kicking it. Rupert Grint, a lot, Bonnie Wright. But what you just said is definitely true because like I said, I am autistic. I've openly admitted this in other podcast interviews and even a lot of my own videos and live streams many of times because autistic, proud, and unapologetically. But I am a fan of these franchises. But I also have empathy for a lot of these communities because that's what I should have. But at the same time, if I feel like something is not needed, I'm going to be honest about it. It doesn't matter what I say. Maybe it could be the greatest thing ever. It could be just as good, if not better than the movies. But I've made my decision the minute I did my another rants video in 2024 when which was a couple months after they announced the reboot boots on my YouTube channel where I just said I will not be giving this show any watch. And I got one nasty comment saying I'm being overly nostalgic for the movies. You can't accept change. First off, I think that's bullshit because I can accept a new interpretation. I'm open to accepting new things or taking risks with movies that I want to see or films or shows I want to see. But it's just when you when you redo something that a lot of people love, they're going to have their say about it. But I'm glad that's one of the first things we brought up is of course the J.K. Rowling Harry Potter thing.
Besides,
And I choose to still be a fan of the franchise, but if we have to separate the art from the artist, I'm taking her completely out of it and to just enjoy the movies and the books for what they are.
now let me ask you this: even though you are a huge fan and you grew up loving the books that are strictly by J.K. and you grew up
Hmm.
loving the movies, which she had her hands all over. Which, by the way, despite how much of a person she is, if she's the creator, I get why she had her hands all over those movies, especially in the beginning. Now, granted,
Except she didn't come into the franchise to produce until the last two, but she did have her say so. But it was more of the other people, creative directors and writers and producers of those
thank
movies,
you for correcting me
having their
on
say
that.
so.
Thank you. I guess
You're,
I misunderstood the situation. Thank you for correcting
yeah.
me. But yeah, she had way more hands in the movies than she has, will, or whatever in the new series. Now, let me ask you this. So you
Hmm.
said you can separate art from artist, which is a great thing, by the way. Depending on
Hmm.
and that right
Yeah,
there
because
says
I feel like some people just it's difficult to do in certain things, and I trust me, I understand with certain creative mindsets,
hmm
like a Roman Polanski, which what he did was wrong, but I could still get through his movies just fine, and the director of Jeepers Creepers, which I didn't know about that until I
way
was older,
after.
but even with that, I can still watch Jeepers Creepers stuff just fine. But I think what you're trying to ask me is, I'll let you go on and finish the question.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if you can separate art from artist, what about the new series? 'Cause you said you're open to a new interpretation. You said you can separate art from artist. And so and by the way, I'm not fighting back against you at all. Like I'm
Oh
totally with
no,
you.
no,
So
no, no,
what
you're
what
fine.
what about the show specifically, besides the original creator, do you makes you not want to watch the show? Because from my understanding, they're in no support of JK. They love her material, they don't like her. That's my
Hmm.
understanding from what I've heard from several of the cast members. Nick Frost, who is very open about it, which, by the way, I love, and I love his casting as Hagrid. Even though he's short, I
Yeah,
love how they give him
yeah.
kind of like the lift and everything. So,
Hmm.
what about the show makes you not want to support it? Besides the not to say it's a political issue because it's a human issue, it's a basic human thing. But what besides that makes you want to not support the show?
Besides the J.K. Rowling situation, it's just When I look at the trailer and people react to the trailer, I don't really see the clear passion in there. I don't really get that sense of magical
Okay.
feel to it as I do with the movies. That's like if you were to take Lord of the Rings and remake it into a less inferior version. Like I said, the cast of the show is not the problem, not even the actor playing Snape, which for all you people on Twitter and
That's
Facebook
just
and Instagram and
ridiculous.
such, all of you people need to shut the hell up
Exactly.
about, because it blows my mind. We are in 2026. And you people still act like a freaking person of color or a girl in a movie or anyone of any minority or LGBTQ person is your enemy. Grow the hell up. Go out. Go touch some grass. Interact with them. You will see that we're all the same.
Yeah, to me, the Snape situation seemed actually genuine. There is now, granted, there is a lot of situations where, in situations that I don't agree with, is you're denying the person who is right for the role, and then bringing in an agenda that doesn't fit. But if the guy, like for example, the guy who's playing Snape now,
Yeah, Papa Esedio.
right? Sorry, I didn't know his name. But yeah, from my understanding, the creators have said that he was right for the role. It wasn't agenda based. He was the one that got it
I
right.
think people really take their whole agenda hatred and such with a lot of these films and shows a bit too harshly rather than just giving things a fair shake. And of course, I'm sure he'll do just fine, but let's be honest, you're not going to top Alan Rickman.
No,
That
and but to me, it's like I'm not even a big fan of Harry Potter. I like the movies for what they are. Admittedly, I seen the first one uh, when I was really, really, really little, but I didn't see any of the other movies or that one again until like last year, or the year before. And now me and my no, it had been the year before because now me and my girlfriend have watched them. Hell, we've probably seen every movie 2 or 3 times, and I know for a fact we've seen one,
that
three, and
that's
four, five.
that's very sweet that you and your girlfriend
Yeah.
loves like watching movie stuff together. Don't
Mhm.
worry, I'll get there one day with a future girlfriend and show her some of
Oh
my
yeah.
favorite movies and such. But yeah, I have seen the Harry Potter movies more than once. I honestly make it a yearly tradition, which I haven't been doing in a while. Not because of the show, it's just because every time I get ready to watch the movies, an actor passes away from the franchise. I make it a yearly tradition to watch the Harry Potter movies, even the prequels, the Fantastic Beasts trilogy.
I've seen the first Fantastic Beast. I haven't seen the other two, but I know about them. I know everything that happens in them now. But like I said, I'm not even a big fan of the franchise in the first place. I have my couple of favorites like Goblet of Fire, and now I used to say Part Five, which was not
Order of the
Order of
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I think that's one of my most underrated
Yeah, that's
of the
probably the most
franchise. Even
underrated.
though I cannot stand Umbridge in that movie, I
Yes,
cannot. My favorite is definitely Hollows Part Two. Is second favorite, and Prisoner of Azkaban is the first one favorite.
Prisoner of Azkaban. Recently, I think well, on this last watch that we did had become my favorite. Now, Goblet of Fire, I would say, is probably the most fun. And also, like, I'm such a horror guy. Like, I think the most
Yeah,
horror
it
elements are
definitely
in that
gives you
one.
some gives horror vibes, especially with the underwater swimming sequence, and also when Voldemort shows up, and the fact that that was the first ever PG-13 movie in the franchise, next to Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars. That actually just told everyone this ain't we're about to go darker with this franchise.
Yeah, like the kids have gotten older; they're officially
Mm-hmm.
teenagers. Yeah. So I love it, but yeah. So I'm not as attached. I haven't even read the books. My girlfriend's read a couple of them, I think, but yeah, I haven't even read the books. I've just seen all the movies for the first time in the last few, couple of years or whatever. And so when I seen the trailer of the show, to me, it was this would be a way more digestible way for me to get into the series more because the movies are so as great as a few of them are, and as franchises as a whole, they're very cluttered. They're very convoluted in areas, and this would be a very digestible way for me to
Yeah,
consume
it's
season
definitely
by
a
season.
lot to take in at first,
Hmm.
but when you, as you, but if I think with the TV show, it'll help you more, and then you'll go back to the movies, and you'll probably have a
Hmm.
lot more appreciation for them,
Yes,
because
but
when, as we all know, when it comes to films, you can only do so much in under 2.5 to 3.5
yeah,
hours, sometimes even 4 hours, if possible.
yeah, there's not a whole lot. It's kind of like the video game argument, like people bitching about Zach Kreger's Resident Evil adaptation, and to me, I look at it more like, yeah, I would rather them adapt the game but on TV format. And also I want them to do it in the same way they kind of did Last of Us. Like if HBO produced a Resident Evil series, that would be freaking amazing because
Now,
they did
I've
great.
never played the Last of Us games. I've heard they're very good, but I heard the second one gets a lot of hatred. But I really
It gets
do.
unfair shake.
But I really did like season one, and I'm one of those people who defends season two, even though I never got a chance to review the show yet. I'm gonna wait until season three because that's supposed to be the last season. But I'm I can definitely see the issues that people had with season two, but when you have to understand a couple things with Last of Us season two. One, you had actor strike and you had a writer strike, so you can only have to have what two. One of your actors, in the case of Caitlin Dever, who plays Abby, she had a personal tragedy in her life with the loss of her mom, so she couldn't really bulk up and train as she is for this third season. And also, when you're having to do a very controversially divided second game with a character that a lot of people hate, but when you play the Abby side, it starts to get more appreciated. It's going to is going to honestly turn some people off. But I get what you say about a Resident Evil TV series. I feel like they should have did that a little bit sooner after Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, which I initially
Yeah,
liked in 2017, but rewatching it, not so much. And those movies, I have some guilty pleasure enjoyment out
especially the first like three or four. The first no, well, the first three. The fourth one I can
of.
have some guilty fun with. The fifth one, I don't. I remember nothing about it, and the last one, I also remember
The
nothing about it because also it was kind of hard to watch. Like you can barely even see
Yeah,
it.
the editing in that movie.
It's
Even
very
Cody Leach
choppy.
said it out. Said it in his review of
I really.
Resident Evil. Yeah,
That's
he's
some of his
Chris.
reviews I haven't even watched. I've watched almost every video. I don't think I've seen those.
Cody Leach. He's a great YouTuber. I've been watching him grow since
Hmm.
2016.
I was in 2016.
Yeah, but I started my own channel in 2015 with my very first channel that got deleted, and I
Oh,
just took this channel and came back and just rebuilt it from the ground up.
hell yeah. Okay. Um, Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've actually met anybody that's watched Cody since he started with Sausage Party. But yeah, I started watching him in 2020 when I was 16. Um, but anyway, back to what I was saying about Craig. I
Yeah,
think that movie is going to be fantastic. I think Zach Kreger's one of the most brilliant directors and writers and filmmakers in general that we've had come in the last few years. I think he is going to inevitably go down in history as one of the most impactful. And
I think so too.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that people are going to give just like Last of Us season two or The Last of Us game part two, which I absolutely love. I think it's one of the most misunderstood stories of all time. But anyway,
I've
I
seen the
think
game of plays of both games.
Yeah, they're great, dude. If you are ever able to get a hold of them and play them, please do.
I
And
do
let me
have
know.
I do have Xbox, but unfortunately they don't have them for the
Yeah.
Xbox, which kind of sucks. But eventually, maybe if they put them out on Xbox, I'll play them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Zach Kroger, I will say he's definitely one of the best to ever to be doing it right, kicking it right now with Barbarian, which I know some people didn't love, or
Love
Weapons,
it.
which I know some people didn't love, but
Also love it.
I think Zach Kroger, I think he could be the one to get Resident Evil right, even if he has to do some changes with the original story for it. I feel like
Um,
it might work with him.
what he's doing is, I mean, are you familiar with Part 7 of the video games?
No, I've never played a single Resident Evil game, but I've seen gameplays, I've seen people talk about them ad nauseum.
Right. So, well, I'm not going too long about it, but he's a big fan, and he he knows that he's one of the only directors I've ever seen actually like call a spade a spade. You know how like a lot of filmmakers like kiss ass on each other. This Joker will call a spade, and he says like the other movies are absolute dog shit, and he said he does not feel comfortable writing a faithful adaptation. Like you cannot write the first game into a movie, you just cannot do it. And he says that
Yeah,
in order to do it like a movie, he wants to kind of do it like Part 7 of the video game, to where it takes place in the same world, but it's a completely different character. It's a completely different side of the world, and his movie is going to be the guy who plays James in Weapons is going to play the main character in his movie, and he's going to be going from point A to point B on Outbreak Day that takes place in the first and second video game. So it's going to take place on that night. So like while Leon and Claire
hmm
Redfield and Resident Evil
yeah,
2 in the video games are like going through the city shooting all the zombies, this character will be in the same exact city, just
like
trying
a
to
side
survive.
story. Cool, yeah,
Exactly. And he
cool.
said he's not going to like retcon anything. It's going to take place in the timeline fluidly to where you could watch this and never play any of the video games, and you will 100% understand every single detail. Or you can play all the video games, watch this movie, and be like, "Hey, that's a new perspective that fits very well into it." And I love that because if you're going to adapt the video games, there's way too much in there to fit into a movie. Make that a series, and then make the
Yeah,
movies.
absolutely. I think
Yeah,
that's what also the thing that I think a lot of creative minds struggle with when it comes to these video game adaptations and why some of them don't do well. You have to know what will work for a film and what will work for a movie.
yeah,
Like example, the Super Mario Brothers movies.
hmm
Those movies, I do have my issues in terms of wanting more of a story in there, but I feel like for the fans of the games, they do enough to be justified. But in the case when you have something like a bad video game movie like House of the Dead or such, don't when you have movies like that with Uwe Boll, like it's just like yeah, you can clearly tell that Uwe Boll he does not know anything about the games. So
exactly. And I mean, yeah, I would suggest because do you like playing video games?
I I do play video games. I have a Xbox One I got recently
If
from.
I'm not mistaken, the Resident Evil games are on Xbox. I think they're one of the very few games that are very popular now that are very multi-platform. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. If they are, you should at least give. I would say also you don't have to play them in order. Um, hell, you could start with like part 7, part 8. Hell, Requiem you can play now. You won't be lost. You won't appreciate everything, but you won't be lost. Um,
All
but they're
right,
really great games.
I'll have to look into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So to kind of touch back on everything we've talked about so far, and to get more into what my podcast is that I want to know what movies you can give me some of your favorites, or you can give me just ones that stand out the most in this aspect. But which ones have influenced you the most and made you kind of who you are? And also, I want to know who or what has influenced you to start making YouTube.
Well, I'll start with the movies question first. And if as far as movies that has inspired me from childhood to now, I would say besides the Harry Potter movies, they have had a big influence on me to be your own type of wizard, but also just when you when you feel different, you could like feel like you want to go into the world of Hogwarts. So that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say I grew up with the first two Shrek movies, and those movies are also a big influence on me because when you see a character like Shrek who feels like an outcast because he is a ogre and people judge you before you get to know them, and then when he meets Donkey and when he goes to save Princess Fiona and then fights off Lord Farquaad, and then the second movie when he finds Puss in Boots, meets the parents and such, and deals with Fairy Godmother. I
Yeah.
really enjoy overall the entire franchise. I'm curious about Shrek 5. I'm a little nervous about the animation, but I am curious. But I do like those first two Shrek movies because it shows you can be an outcast and you can write your own story. And that's what to me Shrek does. In terms of teenage years, this is pretty interesting ones because I never watched a single movie in this said franchise until before the release of The Hobbit came out, and that is the Lord of the Rings trilogy,
I've still never seen
which
them.
I will say when I first started those movies, I went backwards with the trilogy, The Return of the King, Two Towers, and then Fellowship of the Ring of 2013. And then
Um,
I read the book, and then I read the books. I really appreciated the movies more, but it was when summer 2016 when I was able to find versions of the extended versions and watch them and then watch them in order, and I really said to myself, I love this trilogy, everything that stands out, and I think
okay.
Peter Jackson, he accomplished the impossible when it comes to it because for the longest time it was deemed as unfilmable, and he took, and no studio wanted to do it at the time, but New Line Cinema said yes. And when the fact that he made just movie magic with so many great iconic moments and things about war and then the courage and friendship and sacrifice like J.R.R. Tolkien wrote about in those books and made them plausible, that also did play a big influence in my teenage years because it shows that I can be as a courageous and also as important as a character like Aragorn, who is for a lot of the women out there, which y'all gonna be listening. Just have to put that out there. You can see Aragorn as the definition of male masculinity, who is a leader, or someone like Frodo, who has to carry his burden and complete his mission. I'll say this: if you have not seen Lord of the Rings, I would say start with the theatrical versions first, because the
Yeah.
movies are 3 hours, and then when you, if you really like them, then go to the extended editions, which I got the box set on Blu-ray in 2023 for my 25th birthday, which I
Funny.
bought myself, even though I with some birthday money, because I, but I would say those movies, but I'll let you say what you have to say before I go into another movie that has influenced me.
I don't know. I was just gonna say like for one, I'll just say two things real quick. One, well, three things. Earlier, I was gonna say whenever I said I'd never seen Lord of the Rings, I started watching the first one. I fucked up. I started with the extended, and it got really cumbersome for me. And I was like, "Whoa!" I thought Harry Potter 1 was rough at first because when it's a lot of exposition and getting into something, especially fantastical
That's
for
why I
me.
will say it's a lot of explaining, but in the first half. But once we get into them starting the journey, that's where the movie really kicks into high gear, especially the iconic "You Shall Not Pass"
Yeah,
moment.
exactly. But I was gonna say, before that, the only thing I even knew about the Lord of the Rings was Clerks 2. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I've seen Clerks too.
Yeah, dude, it's so amazing. When I think it's Randall. He's there at the restaurant, and he's talking about here's part one, walking with the ring, and here's part two, walking with the ring, and here's part three, throws it, and then turns around, walks back. I thought, yeah, really funny stuff. But yeah, that's basically all I knew about it. And then I kind of gave up on it, and I think I'm just gonna wait and buy them on Blu-ray. That way, I can choose theatrical and then go to extended and still have it. But yeah, you definitely need to watch theatrical cut first. A lot of people will. You have kind of what
Yeah,
I call
that's
like the
my
movie police.
advice. But if you want to sit through through the extra exposition, the extra added scenes, I would say extended is also a good way to start. But I highly suggest the theatrical versions
If you're into
first.
fantasy and that fantastical
Yeah,
lore, if
yeah,
you
because
love
I'm a big fantasy fan. It's my favorite genre.
exactly, if you absolutely love Harry Potter, sure, start with some shit
Yeah.
like the extended editions. If you can sit there for like 4.5 hours, sure. If you got a whole day to kill,
Yeah,
watch
and for me, even though those movies are pretty long, I never really feel the length
because you get lost.
because, yeah, and plus with some people, unfortunately nowadays, because either with they can't they don't have the patience or they have an SAS problem. I think some people do should have the patience for a movie like that, even with an intermission or such.
Yeah, short attention spans are becoming a real problem, especially with social media.
With
You have
tip all people because people want to invest hours of TikToks and rather than take at least 2 hours to 2.5 to 3 to 4.5 hours to watch a movie.
exactly, and so, admittedly, I think I fall into that group now. Not nearly. I can sit in a damn theater and not touch my phone one time. But if it's a movie that I'm already expecting to feel kind of dragged out, I know my experience with it. I'm very open minded. A movie might can even surprise me. But a lot of times when I go back and visit movies like the Harry Potter movies or Lord of the Rings or even like Alien and Aliens, I watched those for the first time last year. And like Alien didn't really catch my attention a whole lot. And I respected the hell out of it. Watched Aliens, absolutely loved it. And then the more I'm thinking about it, like the months after, I finally went back and watched Alien again and loved it. I loved it more than I respected it, just because the first time I watched it, I didn't have the patience for it. So,
Yeah,
admittedly,
the first
my
one
attention
is
span
definitely
didn't.
a slow burn.
Yeah, it did definitely, and admittedly,
And that's
even
what I
my attention
love
span
about the
messes
original
me up.
Alien and a lot more of the slow burn movies. They take their time rather than just getting to the kills.
I got a hot take. Alien is what Halloween wishes it was because Alien is
I
brilliant. And
I love the Halloween movies, but some of those movies is very hit and miss.
yeah, I got an episode with this guy, John, over at Sully Streams, and it
Hmm.
comes out this Wednesday actually, and yours will be coming out next Wednesday.
Cool.
So episode 4, me and him get into the Halloween franchise, and it is like one of the craziest conversations I think I've had on it.
That franchise is pretty much like choose your own adventure, but
Definitely.
definitely.
But all right. So what? Tell me this, and then tell me what is your favorite movie? If and some people don't even have one. or some people don't have an exact one. They have like, the top three that just interchange. So like, what is your top one if you know your favorite movie?
You say one or just like a few selections of my favorite movies.
I mean, really, whatever you want, but I was strictly asking for one movie, and then I wanted
Well,
to
I
dive
will
into the
say
ones around it.
my
But go
favorite
ahead.
movie of all time is definitely Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh, okay.
But if we're talking about multiple, that's one of them. Then I would say 12 Angry Men, which I watched during the pandemic.
That's a
I
good one.
never saw it until the pandemic. David Fincher's version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I think is one of the best book to film adaptations,
I've never
and
seen.
just as good as the Swedish trilogy. It's a fucking shame we did not get the rest of that trilogy from David Fincher, Daniel Craig, and Rooney Mara. Sony, you should be ashamed of yourself there. I
For
will also
multiple
say
reasons.
I will also say Mean Girls, which is one of the biggest
Wow.
childhood classics. I grew up watching that movie a lot.
Funny
I still
enough,
love.
I didn't. My girlfriend showed me Mean Girls. I watched it for the first time like 2 years ago in Nashville one night. That's not a bad movie. That's I was thinking honestly, and I got all the pop culture references to it. I get all the jokes. There's a lot of those classics, even if you've never seen them. It's
Hmm.
like it's almost like if you was to tell me Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad. Like I've never seen Star Wars, and I know that. Like no shit,
Dude, you got to get into Star Wars, but
I've
I
tried.
know I know the fandom is toxic and such, but what I would suggest start chronological. That's how I did it in 2013 because I never saw a single Star Wars movie until my freshman year of high school in 2013. Also, I am a fellow Tennessean because I do live in Tennessee. I was born and raised in Tennessee. But what I would say, start with the prequel trilogy: Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and that way you will see how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. Then, if I would say spend, it's up to you if you want to do the spin-offs and extra such, but I would say then you could start with Solo, then Rogue One, which is one version of this. The other version is, like I said, one, two, and three. Then A New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back, then Return of the Jedi.
I'm writing them down by the way because I don't want to forget because I think I've tried watching them. Like I've seen bits and pieces of Phantom Menace. I know for a fact I
Hmm.
have. I've when I was little, I actually loved the Clone Wars series, but
Yes, I
as
love, I
I haven't
love I love that series. One
I
of the best
haven't
Star Wars
revisited it since
series,
being an adult. But
besides Star Wars Rebels.
yeah, see, I haven't really revisited any Star Wars except for Phantom Menace. I have tried since being an adult, and
I'll say this: the prequel trilogy does have some
there's another
issues
one.
in terms of some of the writing and some of the effects, but I do think the chronological way is the way to go. But you have the first three written down, then Solo, Rogue One. It depends on which chronological order that I give you that you want to go in. The
Right.
original trilogy, A New Hope, is episode 4. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Episode 6, my favorite one, controversially, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Then The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker.
Now people hate Last Jedi, right?
Yes, some people hate it, some people love it, some people appreciate it more than I enjoy it. I'm one of those people who loves it even with its issues.
Now my older stepbrother, he's not crazy into movies or anything. He likes a few, but I don't even think he's that crazy into Star Wars. But he went and seen The Force Awakens, which I think was the first one to come out and
Yes,
like
that was the first one in the sequel trilogy
right.
released 10
And
years ago in 2015. It will be 11
yes,
years old this December. I
yes,
like that one too. It is my favorite Star Wars film, even with its issues. I can understand it being a retread of episode 4, but considering the fact that people really bullied the George Lucas over episodes 1 through 3 to the point where he sold Lucasfilm and bullied Ahmed Best, Hayden Christensen, and Jake Lloyd for years. Which, if you do that in Star Wars fans to those actors, and even to Daisy Ridley and to Ryan Johnson and Kelly Marie Tran, you all should be ashamed.
Like, what is it? Okay, so I got a question, and honestly, I could just look it up. I just not that I haven't really cared enough to look it up. Does that make sense? But I know there's isn't there movies that came out in the 70s? But if you look them up, if you look up the Star Wars movies, it says like the 80s and 90s.
Star Wars, the first episode 4 was 1977. Empire was 1980. Return of the Jedi was 1983. Phantom Menace was 1995. The prequels were 1995, 2002, and 2005.
So why they film them so funky, like in that order?
Because at the time with the prequels, George Lucas did episode 4 first because he wanted to do the prequels first, but he figured to do like episode 4 first. And if episode 4 was successful, he could do 5 and 6. Took a hiatus, and then he waited for the CG to get good with Jurassic Park such, and then he did the prequels. Then they had the Clone Wars movie from 2008 and the TV series. Then he sold Lucasfilm to Disney. And then 2015, 2019, we got the sequel trilogy. 2016, we got Rogue One. 2018, we got Solo. And then now in terms of the movies, we have Mando and Grogu coming out. So
Go ahead.
It's a lot that I can explain, but that's how the order is.
So I've heard also that you really don't even need to watch any of the movies to understand Mandalorian, that it's kind of its own side story. It ties in, but it's separate.
But yeah, because the Mandalorian show's pretty good. Season 3 was just okay, but it had its moments. But you can watch the show Mandalorian on its own and you won't be lost. And Andor, you can watch Andor first and then go into Rogue One and you'll really like it. But like I said, it's going to be a lot to take in with Star Wars, whether through chronological order or release order, but I would suggest chronological order.
Okay.
But when you get the hang of it, it gets there. I know the Star Wars fans will say these certain movies shouldn't exist, but I'm in the mindset of you form your own opinion on how you want to watch a franchise.
Absolutely.
Because that is what's most important.
Now, if you don't understand like me, like I've never seen them, so I cannot give anyone a recommendation or an opinion on the movies.
I'm not going to spoil them for you.
I appreciate that, and I see a lot
of people Lord of the Rings. I'm not going to spoil those for you either.
Funny enough, actually, most of the Lord of the Rings has already been spoiled for me. I say this. I think I've said this every episode so far. I got to stay my ass off the internet, dude.
It's hard. It's definitely hard, especially classic movies that you've never seen or I've never seen, or TV shows I've never seen. But I can easily pick on the references, even with spoilers. And when I watch that same movie or show, I'll be like, okay, that's where that's from.
See, like I got there's moments like that, just like you said, like you'll have an untitled, what I've referenced as an untitled spoiler. Or it's like such in pop culture, but you don't know where it's from, and then one day you watch like one of these movies you've never seen, and then you recognize it, and you're like, oh, okay. That's happened a lot. But I think everyone kind of has a story about a movie that got spoiled for them. And, a lot of times it is a bit of a bigger movie. A movie, and a funny story for me of a movie getting spoiled is I have somehow avoided, so I've somehow avoided The Departed ever getting spoiled for me, and I have never seen it. And then
One of
no
the
shit,
best, one of the greatest
dude.
remakes out there. One of the greatest Martin Scorsese movies out there. You gotta check that out.
I avoided this.
It is Spider-Verse worthy shit right there.
Hell yeah. So I avoided this, not avoiding the movie, but I just had no time to see it. I never watched it growing up. And so I've been looking for it hard. And no shit, the day I bought it, and I bought it
Hmm.
probably a month ago or so.
Hmm.
Still haven't seen it. But the day I bought it, got in the car. Me and my girlfriend are going somewhere else. We get somewhere else. I'm waiting on her to do something. I get on TikTok real quick. The first TikTok is the elevator scene.
And you went throughout your whole life without letting it get spoiled. It's hard.
Let me tell you
Let
this. I avoided it so hard. I didn't even know it was a remake until like
It is a
also a
remake
month
of
ago.
Infernal Affairs.
Yes. And that, I believe it or not, is a porn film too, no?
Yeah,
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
also do enjoy that movie as well, The Departed. But
now as far
that
as
was the answer.
go
The
ahead.
first question that you asked me about the movies has um that has an impact on me. The last movie I will say that has had an impact on me is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because when before that movie came out, I was one of those people. I said this is not gonna work. This Sony's just doing it to get money, but it wasn't until I started hearing more about it, and then who was all in it, and then what Spider-Man characters they were going to be using, and then watching the actual movie, it immediately became my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, and it's held a place in my 100 favorite movies of all time.
Oh, dude,
And the sequel was just as great, and I am beyond excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse next
dude.
summer.
Even though like I love animated movies, I'm one of those guys though. Like I will pick a comfortable
Hmm.
3 out of 5 live action movie that I love over a 5 out of 5 Spider Verse movie for me. Like I'm just one of those guys, but those type of movies are my comfort zone too. A lot of them are, and so
And I,
whenever I do revisit them, it's
hmm
so much love and warmth, and especially those Spider Verse movies were literally a dream come true to me. Because just like I said, like I will 9 times out of 10 choose a live action Spider Man over a cartoon anything. But when I finally got me a animated Spider-Man movie, oh dude, that was my
Yeah,
shit.
those movies are amazing,
It,
especially visually.
Spider-Verse is one of the movies that I've probably seen. Like there's several movies I've seen numerous times. That one, when I finally bought it on Blu-ray, I think I watched it. That and Deadpool and Wolverine are both are like ones that I bought on Blu-ray and like just had in my house on 24/7 for like 3 days straight.
I do that sometimes myself.
My record most watched movie of all
Yeah,
time
yeah,
is
even with TV shows and with
Oh
my
yeah.
comfort zone. The thing for me when it comes to stepping out of my comfort zone, when I was younger and such, I would only watch certain movies that I would enjoy watching. But ever since I've matured in my teenage years, even during the pandemic in my 20s, I just said, let me branch out. I want to branch out into other films, like international films, older films, in any genre because I'm pretty open to any genre: action, horror, adventure, romance, crime thrillers, any of that stuff. And I just like exploring a variety of genres of movies.
Right.
And even the same thing with music. Unless it's something I know I'm not going to enjoy listening to or watching, even with TV shows, I still have a small picky side, but I try to move past that. And as far as who were the influences for me doing my YouTube channel, because you've been I've been waiting and putting that question off long enough. But it's okay. It's a conversation
Yeah.
between two guys. It was pretty much Chris Stuckman in his prime. Also, two other YouTubers named JW Universe and Review King MB, Mike Brown from his channel, which I saw like people review movies on YouTube, and I was like, they start doing this. I want to start doing this, and so with one of my very first older phones I had, and one of my very first channel, I would start reviewing movies and such. But then that channel got deleted for reasons which I didn't really do anything wrong. They just deleted it out of the way because your super copyright system is screwed,
Yeah.
which they really need to work on that. But I said no. And it was December 22nd of 2015 where I decided to launch resurrect a second channel. It's gone through many channel names through Future Filmmaker 39480 and such to the name I have now. I decided to come back and rebuild from the ground up. And not only just add movies on there, but also TV shows, anime movies that I want to talk about, music when I do feel like I want to. But, and through those influences, even though it's taking me a while to find my own voice, especially with the thumbnail designs, my editorial style, my style of reviewing movies, and even customizing my own rating system of my own. I feel like I have grown into my own voice, and I feel like I'm getting better as it goes along.
Oh,
Still, some
absolutely.
things I need to work on because I did do a channel evaluation of what's going on, and yes, the thumbnails, which some people say I am putting a little, I need to work on that, not making them too cluttered. Also, trying to make the titles interesting. Also, denoise the background sound towards just my voice and such. Like I said, it's a lot to do, and when you have only your phone to use, you can only do so much as far as denoising sound or trying to find interesting titles and try to do creative thumbnails, especially when I'm only limited to the free plan on posting my wall in Canva. I don't really use other stuff like Photoshop and such because Photoshop stuff is giving me a bit of a headache. But
Yeah. See, when I first started,
throughout over over the 10 to 11 years, because it'll be 11 years this December, I feel like I've gotten a lot more comfortable into where people can come to my channel, whether you're someone like you or your girlfriend or LGBTQ or black people or anyone. You can come to my channel and feel safe, even autistic people. Because Ken Sledge for Sledgehammer Horror, when I was on his channel, he said something that I have been taking with me. It's
yeah.
nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. And he also
Yes.
said that with me being autistic, I can be an inspiration to those who are autistic and show that
Yes.
if I can do this, they can do it too.
Absolutely, dude. And I think you're doing amazing so far. Um,
Like I said, still doing some improving every now and then, but doing I am doing my best.
Dude, you're doing great. That was very well said. I have loved this conversation. I think you're amazing. I cannot wait to see where you go. What
And
do you
thank
have
you.
coming out soon that, or at any time that you know of, that you would like people to look out for?
Like I said, I did do a live stream explaining what's been going on with videos and such. Like I said, I'm still have a lot of videos I want to catch up on, 2026 related or some catch up from last year, and also doing some older reviews, especially review series like historical epics, fantasy reviews leaning into the Odyssey. Also Also, want to do some more live streams, whether it's a hangout stream or a movie watch commentary. And also, we'll be doing my first episode of my own little interview portion of the channel. Kick back and chat. I'm working on a lot, so it's a lot I'm doing, but I'm trying to balance it out. Also trying to schedule out all the such. So I am working on that stuff.
Awesome, dude. Well, I will have all of your links down in the description below. This is one of my favorite conversations that I've had so far.
I'm very, very happy to have been on here, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where your channel goes, especially with the real influences, and also on your other social medias, see what you do and such. So
thank you, man.
It's been a really great conversation. Also, you and your girlfriend, keep doing your channels, and you will find your own audience. It's on both sides.
Thank you, dude. Your kind words mean more than you could ever know. Your impact on others mean a lot, and you are doing great. You know how to make people smile. You are a very positive person. You are a positive, real influence. I'm so glad you said yes to coming on, dude. I've absolutely loved this. Everyone who's watching this, you're probably coming from his channel because he's way bigger than I am. But if you're not and you're coming from me, all these links are down in the description below. Go like, follow, sub, all of his stuff. He is awesome, as you can see here. I feel like I've learned a lot about you. I'm very thankful for your time. Thank you for also being patient with me in the beginning.
And I'm very happy to have been on here for this.
Oh, dude, that means a lot. But, all right, well, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.
Bye-bye. And you guys stay epic-tastic and keep it cool.
Hell yeah.